In my last video, we took a high-level look at the Pwnagotchi, the adorable Wi-Fi-sniffing digital pet that feeds on network handshakes. You guys absolutely flooded the comments asking for a complete step-by-step build guide. Well, your wish is my command.
What the hell am I doing here? In this miserable place? I'm risking my life. For what exactly?
Daddy, chill.
Today, we're taking those raw components and turning them into a fully functional, pocket-sized cyber companion. We'll flash the software, configure the display, set up a custom name, and get it ready for its very first walk. Before we turn the first screw, remember our golden rule. This project is strictly for educational purposes and ethical cybersecurity research. Only test networks you own or have explicit written permission to audit. With that out of the way, grab your soldering iron if you need one, and let's get building. Let's start with the physical build. As I mentioned before, we're using the standard Raspberry Pi Zero W with pre-soldered headers, paired with the gorgeous Waveshare 2.13-inch e-paper hat plus version 4. Assembly honestly couldn't be simpler. Align the 40-pin GPIO female header on the back of your Waveshare display with the male pins on your Raspberry Pi Zero W. Gently press them together until the connection is completely flush. If you choose to use a Pi Sugar 3 or a Waveshare UPS hat for portable battery power, that will sandwich nicely right beneath the Pi. For this tutorial, we're keeping it simple and powering it directly over USB. Now for the brains of the operation. Because the original Pwnagotchi project was archived years ago, we are using the actively maintained community fork by jayofelony. Head over to the official jayofelony Pwnagotchi GitHub repository. Click on the Releases section on the right side of the page. Download the latest .image.xz file designated for your specific board. Make sure to grab the 32-bit version for the standard Pi Zero W or the 64-bit version if you're using the Pi Zero 2W. While that massive file is downloading, go ahead and plug your high-quality micro SD card into your computer. To write this image to our SD card, we're using Raspberry Pi Imager, though tools like Balena Etcher work perfectly too. Inside Raspberry Pi Imager, click Choose OS. Scroll down to the bottom, select Use Custom, and select the jayofelony image file you just downloaded. Click Choose Storage and select your micro SD card. Hit Next, click Write, confirm the wipe, and let it cook. Once the flashing is done, pop that micro SD card straight into your Raspberry Pi Zero W. It's time for the moment of truth, the first boot. Take your micro USB data cable and plug it into the data port of your Raspberry Pi Zero. Make sure it's the data port, not the power-only port. Then connect the other end directly to your computer. This forces the Pwnagotchi to boot straight into manual mode so we can configure it. Don't panic if nothing happens on the screen immediately. On the very first boot, the system is resizing the file system, generating secure RSA cryptographic key pairs, and setting up drivers. This can take anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. While it's booting, let's fix a common Windows hurdle. Go to your Windows search menu, type Device Manager, and open it. Scroll down to Network Adapters and expand it. If everything worked perfectly, you should see a device named Raspberry Pi USB Remote NDIS Network Device. If it's there, awesome. If it isn't, or it shows up with a yellow warning triangle under Other Devices, we need to manually install the RNDIS driver. To install the driver, head over to the link I've left in the description below. Pro tip: if you have an old broken RNDIS driver still lingering from an old project, uninstall it first and reboot your PC for good measure. Download the Windows driver package, click Install, and follow the prompts. Once it's finished, check your device manager again. You should now see that stable Raspberry Pi USB Remote NDIS network device ready to roll. Now, to give our Pwnagotchi internet access so it can update itself and download plugins, we need to share our PC's internet connection. Open up your Windows control panel, click on the Network and Internet option, and then navigate to the Network and Sharing Center. On the left side, click Change Adapter Settings. This will open a window showing all your network connections. Find your main internet source, usually your system's Wi-Fi adapter. Right-click your Wi-Fi network, go to Properties, and switch over to the Sharing tab. Check the box that says Allow other network users to connect through this computer's internet connection. In the drop-down menu underneath, select your Pwnagotchi's network adapter. In my case, it's named Ethernet 4. Click OK. Boom! Your system is now pumping internet straight into your Pwnagotchi through that single data cable. Now for the fun part, giving our digital pet an identity. We need to access the Pwnagotchi's terminal via SSH. Open up your Windows command prompt and type the following command, ssh-pi@pwnagotchi.local. Hit enter. If it asks you to trust the host connection, type yes. When prompted for a password, type the default, raspberry, and hit enter. In older versions of the Pwnagotchi software, you had to manually write and format a complex text file called config.toml. If you missed a single space or comma, the whole system would crash. But the latest jayofelony image makes this so much easier with a built-in interactive setup wizard. Type this command to launch it, sudo pwnagotchi --wizard. The wizard will start by asking if you want to restore a previous configuration. Since this is a completely fresh setup, we'll type N for no and hit enter. It'll give you a quick warning that this will overwrite any current backup. Type Y to confirm. Next up, the most important choice, giving your pet an identity. It'll ask you to set a custom Pwnagotchi name. I'm going to name mine Pwnagotchi and hit enter. Now the wizard will ask how many networks you want to whitelist. This is crucial if you don't want your Pwnagotchi accidentally de-authenticating your own home devices while you're testing it. I'm going to type 2. It'll then prompt you for the SSID, which is just the Wi-Fi name. I'll type my home network, my access point, and hit enter. For the BSSID, or MAC address, you can just leave it blank and hit enter. Since I chose 2 networks, it'll prompt me a second time to fill in my backup network details. After whitelisting, it will ask if you want to enable Bluetooth tethering. We're going to type N for no here because it's much easier to just enable this later using the web UI. Next, it will ask if you want to enable a display. Type Y for yes. When it asks for the specific display type, type in Waveshare_4 to match our version 4 ePaperHat. Finally, it will ask if you want to invert the display colors. If you want a clean, classic black text on a white background, you would type Y. But in my case, I want a sleek black background, so I'm going to type N and hit enter. And just like that, the terminal will let you know the configuration is done and the device will automatically restart in 5 seconds. Now, we just need to wait a minute or two for the device to completely reboot. Once the device finishes restarting, we can actually go a step further and secure its web UI interface. To do that, let's log back in and check the default configuration file manually. Type sudo nano/etc/pwnagotchi/default.toml. Use your arrow keys to scroll down until you find the UI.web section. You'll notice it's configured to run on port 8080. To make sure no one else can mess with your device over the network, we want to make sure authentication is tightly secured. Look for the line that says auth equals false, change it to true. Right below it, you'll see the default username and password are set to change me. If you want to change these to a custom secure password, you can do that right here. For now, I'm going to leave mine as default, but I highly recommend updating yours later. Once you are done, save the file by pressing Ctrl-O, hit Enter, and then press Ctrl-X to exit the editor. Now, to properly bake in all these new settings and its brand new name, we need to completely power down the device. Type sudo power off. Give it a few seconds to shut down completely. Now, unplug the micro USB data cable from your PC and plug it right back in to start a clean boot cycle. Because we changed our device's identity to Pwnagotchi, Windows gets a little confused with the network sharing we set up earlier. We need to quickly reset it so Windows can assign the correct IP address to our newly named companion. Open up your Windows control panel, click on the Network and Internet option, and head back to the Network and Sharing Center. Click Change Adapter Settings on the left. Right-click your system's main Wi-Fi adapter and go to Properties. Jump to the Sharing tab, uncheck the Internet Sharing box, and click OK. Now immediately right-click that same Wi-Fi adapter again, go to Properties, and back to Sharing. Recheck the box to allow network sharing, and in the drop-down menu, select your Pwnagotchi's adapter. Mine is Ethernet 4. Click OK. This quick toggle forces Windows to reset the connection and push a fresh IP address straight to your customized Pwnagotchi terminal. Now let's try to SSH back in using our new custom name. Open your command prompt and type SSH pi at pwnagotchi.local. Hit enter, and boom! It will ask you if you want to trust the new host connection, type yes and hit enter. When it asks for the password, type in the default raspberry, hit enter, and you are officially logged back into your fully customized, secured Pwnagotchi terminal.
Magic.
First things first, let's make sure our network sharing trick actually worked and our pet has live internet access. Type ping google.com. Hit enter. As you can see, we're getting clean, fast replies. Pwnagotchi is successfully reaching the outside world right through our computer's data cable. Press Ctrl+C to stop the ping. Now that we know it's online, let's look at that gorgeous web UI interface. Open up your favorite web browser and type in http://pwnagotchi.local:8080. Remember, it runs specifically on port 8080. As soon as it loads, a login prompt will pop up asking for your credentials. If you didn't change them in the default.toml file earlier, the default username is changeme and the password is changeme. Type those in, hit enter, and boom! The official dashboard opens up displaying the exact same live information, facial expressions, and status updates you see on the e-paper screen, just in a sleek browser window. Now, if you watched my previous video, I already broke down every single setting, option, and menu inside this web UI, so we won't repeat ourselves today. If you want a deep dive into the dashboard itself, definitely go check out that previous Pwnagotchi video after this.
Okay.
Before we wrap up this ultimate setup guide, let's look at a few incredibly powerful terminal commands you need to know to manage your new device. If you ever need to check exactly what firmware version you're running, just type Pwnagotchi -- version. To see if there are any new updates available from the community fork, type sudo Pwnagotchi -- check update. Since we are running the absolute latest image, it tells us right here, you are currently on the latest release. Now let's talk about plugins, which is where the real power of this device hides. Before we can browse them, we need to update our local plugin repository. Type sudo Pwnagotchi plugins update. Once that quick update finishes, you can view every single plugin available for download by typing sudo Pwnagotchi plugins list. Look at all of these options. Now, if you want to use deauthentication attacks to aggressively capture Wi-Fi handshakes, you want to install the Enable DAuth plugin. It's as simple as typing sudo Pwnagotchi plugins install Enable DAuth. If you also want to utilize association attacks to gather handshakes from clientless networks, let's grab Enable AOS as well. Type sudo Pwnagotchi plugins install Enable AOS. And finally, to easily view, manage, and download all your captured handshake files directly from a clean menu in your browser, let's install handshakes-dl. Type sudo Pwnagotchi plugins install handshakes-dl. To fully bake these new plugins into the system and restart the Pwnagotchi service so it recognizes them, type sudo systemctl restart Pwnagotchi. Now, if you jump back over to your web UI browser window and click on the Plugins tab at the top of the screen, you will see our 3 newly installed tools sitting right there. To start using them, just toggle the switches to On for Enable DAuth, Enable AOS, and handshakes-dl. And that is absolutely it. You have successfully built, flashed, configured, secured, and supercharged your very own DIY Pwnagotchi. And that is how you build and configure a Pwnagotchi completely from scratch. It's an incredible little project that teaches you a ton about Linux, embedded hardware, and the realities of wireless security. All the hardware components, links to the latest jayofelony image are waiting for you down in the video description below. If you ran into any issues during your setup or driver installation, drop a comment down below, and the community or I will try to help you troubleshoot. Don't forget to hit that like button if this guide got your digital pet up and running, subscribe for more DIY hardware and cybersecurity projects, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy hacking!